that out. Hit that one. Hey, welcome. Merry Christmas. This is Stunt Hangar West. And I'm still tinkering in the shop. I got a bit of good news today when I came home. I put this on my scale in my shop here, my good scale. It's 57.75, so I must have been weighing it wrong. I got a cradle that it rests in, so we're looking at a 59 ounce or a 60 ounce model when it's done. So that is a bit of good news. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go around and fix all the boogers, because there's a few of them. So let's transition this cam. We'll go over here. And is the audio okay? Because I don't have my boom mic here. I'm only operating off the webcam mic. Can you guys hear me okay? Hey, Tom. Can you guys hear me all right? Hey, Craig. From down under. All right, Al. Okay, so I picked a couple of spots. Let me turn this over. I get my foam block here. I thought I lost my canopy mold, but when I came back home, I found my canopy mold here, along with my jackery, so we're in good shape. So I got a couple spots I want to fix, and I'll try to get a close-up of what I'm talking about. I don't know why or how that it happened, and most guys would just let it go, but I can't. Get this over here and get close up to this. Come on, get over there. It looks to me like the paint bubbled on the fillet right there. That's the only spot that it did it, right there. So in order to fix that, I'm going to have to dig that out. I won't add any filler. I'll just sand it. And it's only about a 1/4 inch long. But I can't live with it. Might as well zap that when I get to it. Okay, let's get a knife and dig it out of there. It must be... Hey, thank you, Al. Wow, Al, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. This fillet right, this little fillet right here is probably... I'm probably going to find green putty under there. I don't remember. That's what it did. It peeled right up. So I think maybe, I don't have any CA here. I don't think I brought CA. That's the bad thing about running two shops. I brought stuff to paint with, not to build with. Let's see here. What are we going to do here? No CA in the making. Shoot. I don't see any CA. Thank you very much, Al, for the super chat. So I have no CA, so I have to cut it out of there. Now here's the thing for you. This has been painted a couple of weeks. So the dope has shrunk. This is the only spot that has one of these little weasels in it. And I was exactly right. There's green putty under it. I forgot, you can't use green putty in an area like that. Okay. Because I'll guarantee you Jim Lynch will go, hey, what are we going to do about that? And I can't go there. So I got to fix that. There's one little spot on the tip that needs to be fixed. We'll just sand that out, and I'll tape off a little square, hit it with some primer, and then dust some white on it. Of course, it's probably not going to be as easy as you think to do here. Let me get a block. These little 3M rubber squeegees are really handy. Buy them at auto parts, auto paint shop. They're for squeegeeing off when you're wet sanding. When I paint this, feather it in, I'll not put much paint on it, just enough to cover it. Boy, I dug the crap out of that. I'm going to have to put some green stuff back in it. Now it's opened up a can of worms. I might have this all sanded off. You know what? There was actually no green putty under that. Just something that didn't stick. So I've dug a big groove in that thing now. I don't have any super fill here. I'd use that, but I don't have any. I don't believe so. I don't see any handy. But I did bring the 3M. Can't use spackle. I don't have any micro balloons. I guess I could use Z-epoxy and garlic salt. Yeah, what are we gonna do? You don't never want to use this. That is no good. Ah, man, don't I have any CA here? I could have swore I put CA in the box. Where's that little box? Oh, I got my pilot paint. No CA. Okay, plan B. Plan B. Oh, man. Make another look in here. Look carefully. I'm gonna, when I paint this tomorrow, I should have all the boogers fixed up by tonight. When I paint this tomorrow, I'm gonna show my mixing techniques on Christmas Day. I don't understand why that happened. Unless I got it too wet. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Even if you don't like it. Help keep me going. Well, I just told you I can't do this, and I'm going to do it anyway. So don't do as I do, do as I say. We're going to try to get away with it. And if it doesn't work, I'll have to cut it out and do it again. But I want this model as nice as my Thunderbolt was. So I got to fix all the boogies. I still got the tail to that Thunderbolt. I miss this old girl. It was a good airplane. Got me on the front row 2 or 3 years in a row. I can't remember, 2 for sure. Boy, it's really showing its age. That's too bad. What is the relevance of MC-72? The Tucker Special was patterned after the Montecastelli 72. Just type in MC-72 into Google and you'll see this airplane. It was originally designed as a float plane. It's called a Snyder Cup Racer. It had a 24-cylinder Fiat A6 engine. It's the world's fastest piston-driven airplane. And I think it still holds the record to this date. Or the I don't know exactly on that. I got to retract that because maybe a Mustang's faster. I don't know. It was fastest of its day. There was one made. It never flew in a Snyder Cup race. It flew one or two times and set the record and retired. It's in the, you know. Hey, John. Cornstarch and clear dope. I don't have any cornstarch. Got baking soda. I'm just going to put a little green putty in there and just be easy on the spray. Did you hear the weight of this, John? There was a mistake in my scale at the apartment. I said 60 1/4. Well, I weighed it here. It's 57 3/4. So that's the official weight right now, 57 3/4. I set it on the scale with my little holder. Where I was doing it at the apartment was down, you know, nose down on the spinner, and that's not very accurate. So what happened to the putty? I just had it in my hand. Come on, guys, the gremlin's got me again. This ain't it. This is the old tube. I mean, it worked, but I want the new stuff. Yeah, float plane record, that's what it was. Like I say, a Fiat A6 24-cylinder engine. The airplane was red and gold. The gold, it had gold all over the wings, just like my Tucker Special. And gold in the floats, and what that was radiators. This whole airplane was a giant radiator. Because it was a water-cooled engine. Remember, John, I told you I couldn't find my canopy mold? I got it. It's right here. It was in my foam block. So if this airplane flies good, I can make another one. I just hope it flies as good as the one that it's designed after, the Junar XL. And it probably should, as long as I can keep it light. See if I can get this in here. And Jim Lynch, what are you going to do about that? I will make us some foam holders for the scales. Yeah, great. That'd be great. I'm going to put this on 2 coats. So we'll let that dry here. Now I also had a spot on the wingtip that I wanted to fix. And there's going to be a bunch of little spots I need to go over, like on the edge of the flaps. And I've got to ink these checkers in so that they're perfect. Where the corners meet perfectly, I'll do that with ink. But I'm not going to do that until after I clear it. And the reason for that, you guys that don't know, is if you ink on an airplane that doesn't have clear on it and you make a mistake, you're going to be repainting the airplane. At least with 1 or 2 light coats of clear, it'll give you a little protection in case you make a mistake. You can wipe the line off and or sand if you have to get it off. So that should come out okay. I really didn't want to use this green putty because it's not real conducive to the paint sticking, but I think if I had some CA, I would, after I get it sanded out, I would coat it with CA. I just don't have any. I can't believe it. But I think because there's no primer on this airplane, I think if I just prime this spot and lightly dust the white on it, just enough to hide it, I think it'll be okay. So now, I got a spot there. I'm going around doctoring up all the overspray spots. There's a spot in the red here, looks like some overspray got on it. That came off, that's good. That's got that. Before I clear this, I'll go over the whole thing with Windex. Let me switch angles here. I'll go over this thing with Windex before I shoot the clear on it real good. But this week I should have all the touch-ups done and the clear on it, and maybe start inking. I got a week to do this. And anybody that knows me knows that when I'm here, I ain't sleeping. Plenty of time to do that when you're dead. And that comes soon enough. I got a Tucker Special stencil here. I think I'll put that on somewhere. I smell something cooking. That means I got a home-cooked meal. I'm used to TV dinners. TV dinners. Let's see if I can ink that square without screwing it up. I just told you not to do this, and here I'm doing it. I'm pretty used to one chance. Yeah, we got it on there with no problem. That looks good. All I gotta do now is not smear it. Let's see, it goes right in the center. I will have to not monkey with that area. Maybe a finer pen. I do have a heat gun, so I might get that on it. That might help. Hey Danny, Merry Christmas to you. Now, think about ink. If you make a mistake, if there's too much, if the line is not exactly straight or whatever, let it dry and then pick it off with a knife. I will dry that too. That's going to take a couple of coats. That was a pretty good gash in there. Have to go, still have company over. Merry Christmas, John. I'm dedicated to model airplanes. Okay. You know, this is what I did as a kid too. Same thing. It was model airplanes all year round. (1968). My dad gave me a McCoy 35 for Christmas. Oh, that ain't dry yet. We're pressing our luck there. That's still green. Still green. So let's go to the wingtip over here. There's lots to work on, so like I say, I have lots to choose from. But that spot there is really bothered me. I knew I couldn't let that one go. I'll tell you what would happen. Come summertime, if I'd have let that go, that blister would have grown the whole length of the rudder. Sitting out in the sun on the tarmac, heat beating up on it, it would have been terrible. Oh, flap coming off. We'll be making my 21 t-shirts, or maybe ones with no year on it. Yes, I'm going to do some shirts. I think I'm going to forego the year, because once the year is over, they don't sell. So any of you guys out there that might be graphic artists, like Marcus Cordillo, the Brazilian guy, he designed a couple year shirts for us. Then of course I did the Schultze Bearcat and the Schultze Mustunt, and then I did my own design. One was the Thunderbolt, and the next one was a Continental, and then one was a Viper. You know, if you got a design that you would like to see, get it to me, and we'll see what we can do. Now, do I want to use 320 or do I want to use 600? I think I'll try 600 first before we go too crazy. Did I bring the sandpaper up? Nope. Down in the car, so I guess we're going to go with 320. Oh, wait a minute, I might have a piece of 1000 grit over here. Yeah, I do. This was a spot that I just dropped a little bit of paint on it. Of course, it's an outboard top, little dot. I mean, yeah, it went away. It might be all right. Maybe I'll just airbrush a little spot on it. And there's one underneath the fuselage I need to clean up. This is really over the top. I mean, but anybody that's competed at the Nats knows that those guys are looking at every little thing. And then you got to try to keep this thing pristine. You got to fly it and keep it pristine until the Nationals. It's hard to do. Of course, before the Nats, you got to go over it and fix all the dinks. Wonder how denatured alcohol would do to wipe this thing down. Anybody ever try that? Denatured alcohol over the top of dope? What does it do? I guess we could try it and find out. Anybody knows that I'm making a mistake, speak now, because I don't know. We'll just do a little test spot. Probably take the paint off. Actually, no. A little bit. Actually, it don't work bad. I suppose if you saturated it and rubbed the crap out of it, it would do something. So I got a little spot there and a little spot there. We'll just dust a little bit on there when I'm doing the tail. There's a couple of spots on the flaps that need to be touched up. I got to go through and clean my airbrush. When I painted this thing, my airbrush would not, my Grex would not spray at all. So I went over to a crappy little Harbor Freight airbrush and painted it, and decided I'd just throw the Grex in the box, and when I got here I would take it completely apart and we'll get it cleaned out. So I guess I could do that now, because I got to get ready for painting these little areas. I'm not going to put much paint on this, so we're not going to paint with the HVLP gun any white. It'll be the white will be done with an airbrush, and the clear will be done with the HVLP gun. And those HVLP guns that I use are this one right here. This is a new one. I end up buying 2 or 3 new ones a year, because even if you clean them, they just, I think the thing with quality, when you buy a good one, like a Binks or Seda or whatever, I think that's so you can keep cleaning them. These Harbor Freight Japanese ones or Chinese ones, they work super good the first time and then considerably go downhill from there. I have 4 of them sitting in there. But I don't have any packing tape, so I can't put any tape over that. But as far as how much paint goes on this, 1 coat of clear is 2 of these cups. So you run 1 coat on the top. I think this is a 2-ounce cup. And 1 coat on the bottom. And that's all you get for, 1 cup, I mean. And that's 1 coat of paint, top and bottom. So you're not getting a whole lot with, oh, here's them brushes, good. Now I can clean that other gun. You're not getting a whole lot with 1 quart of paint. That'll fill this up about 8 times, and that's it. But I'll take this apart too and clean it before I use it. So what I need to do now, we're going to set this aside and let that stuff dry. The more I look at that airplane, the more I like that paint scheme. It's bright. I'm going to put an arrow on the bottom. John suggested I put an arrow on the bottom. I'm going to do that. I left this Grex gun pretty filthy. So I need to get it apart and see why it quit working. It died with the yellow. And I just got disgusted and dumped it out, wiped it off, and threw it back in the box. Let's change angles on the screen. Okay. I gotta clean this thing out. This thing's super expensive. I just got aggravated. So we'll get paint jar. Gallon of crap thinner. This crap thinner used to be like $3 a gallon. Now it's $15 to $18 a gallon. John and I, we buy it in 5-gallon buckets, 5-gallon cans from where I work, and we get 5 gallons for $40, so a little less than. I do not know why it wouldn't work. The only thing I could think of is that when I put the paint in there, it was pretty thick on the bottom. of there before. There it is. Okay. There's nothing dirty about the plunger, so that's okay. That wouldn't have anything to do with the operation of that. I guess I'll soak that like so. I used the cheaper one. Cheaper one what? Thinner? Harbor Freight's got it for $1 a gallon. I'll go to Harbor Freight and buy it, but I've never seen thinner at Harbor Freight. One for each color. Oh, you're talking about paint guns. Yeah. They have, Harbor Freight has some paint guns that are like $9.95 a piece. They're purple. The ones that I use are $35 a piece, and they work so much better than the other ones. But they just don't last because it's Chinese, you know. But I want to tell you guys something, and you older guys will know what I'm talking about. When we were kids, it used to be Jap crap, and it was terrible stuff. Now, Japanese products are high quality. They tried to bomb us with bombs, and they couldn't do it, so they bombed us with radios and TVs, cars. Of course, they're just basically like the other guys. They just steal our technology and duplicate it. Very similar to what the Russians do. They just take our patents and copyrights and make the products at a cheaper price because people will work cheaper over there. But the materials they use are kind of inferior. That's why they don't last. We'll get this ready for white paint and see what happens. Well, this yellow is tough to get off. It leaves kind of a yellow tinge. I think that's what it is. I think when I put that thick paint in there, it just clogged the thing up. I'm sanding the needle. I learned this little trick from an airbrush guy, but you got to sand it with 2000. makes the needle sharp and clean. "911, don't soak. Don't soak what?" You guys talking riddles. Don't soak what? I'm not worried about the Grex. It's German. It looks like Harbor Freight, but it's German. Very similar. Oh, all guns. Yeah. And you figure it's gonna ruin the O-ring or something? Let's see what kind of boogies we get out of there. Clean as soon as done. Yeah, I understand. I was in a hurry when I used this the other day, and you know, I was painting at my apartment, which I'm not supposed to do, and I wanted to get it done. And it wouldn't work, so I got frustrated. And what I did was, I didn't have something to mix the yellow paint in, so I know what happened. I just know this is what happened. I poured the yellow paint into the cup and then put the thinner in it to thin it out. Not a good way to do things. I know better, but so I think it wouldn't work because it was so thick that couldn't pass through the passageways. But we'll see. Looking better so far. Well, come on, I know I slipped you in there. That's over there. This piece here is so small. The tip of this is just so small. It's clean though. I can't see what he said. No, clean as soon as done. Yeah, I know. Couldn't do it. I just threw it back in the box and let her rip. So we're cleaning it today. All will be fine. All will be fine. That's all I'm using is thinner. You guys are behind. Okay, let's get this little brush here. Should have brought my ultrasonic and put thinner in my ultrasonic and dropped it in there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think it'll be all right. I mean, I know I didn't. Nothing that can't not be fixed. Just depends how much money you want to throw at it. Well, passageway's clear. So this goes on the bottom here. Oh yeah, more yellow paint. I'm gonna have to fire up that little pancake compressor and run some thinner through this. I mean, I'm telling you, nothing would spray out of this thing. I think that's what happened is I think that's what I did is I just put thick paint in and it wouldn't work. There we go. I'll bet $5 it'll spray now. Merry Christmas, Don. Okay. A lot of parts to this stupid airbrush. poker there for the nozzle. This is clean. So far, so good. Yeah, them are clean. Okay, let's shoot some thinner through it and see if it'll spray. Got 22 guys watching. I thought I'd be the only one to have nothing to do on Christmas Eve. Don't drink anymore. Don't go, dancing or chase women or none of that stuff. So it's model airplanes. Okay, let me get the pancake. That way it won't make too much noise. I got all kinds of stuff. My little compressor in Dayton, put that in there. It works pretty good, but it doesn't, it doesn't have a tank on it, so it's always running. But this one here is a little louder than. All fixed, all better. Yeah, like I said, that was my fault. I know that's what happened. I didn't have anything to mix the paint in, so I poured the yellow into the cup and then poured the thinner into the cup after that and shook it up, figuring that it would work, and it obviously didn't. So I used my little Harbor Freight gun to paint that. When you're painting something that little, it doesn't much matter. I told you I could do it with a bug sprayer. But man, yellow sure stains this plastic. Merry Christmas, Richard. Bad snowstorm in Akron, Ohio. Well, I ain't in Ohio, so I'm good with that. I feel for you. I hate snow. Come on, Cleveland contest. Except that's at the end of the year. I think contests are going to be a little sparse this year. Not even sure the Nats is going to go off. And there's a problem with the Nats. It's in June. Has anybody ever been to the Nats in June in Muncie? I have. It's windy. Real windy. The guy who can survive the wind is going to be the winner. Howard Rush had his anemometer up. I think it was 30 miles an hour once. When the Brazilians came down, yeah, that was the year that the Brazilians came down. They brought their Thunderbolts, and the other guys had P-51s. One of them P-51s whipped up, blew up. I caught it just before it hit me in the face. I don't speak Portuguese, but I know the guy was thankful as hell that I caught it. I didn't hurt it, not one bit. That wind picked it up 5 foot off the ground. Would be nice to get down in there. I don't have a pick here. I got a bent pick, but no straight pick. That ain't gonna do it. Wouldn't you know it? Bent pick, but no straight pick. Well, maybe I can straighten this one out. We don't care. I don't. Who's ever going to use a hook pick like that anyway? About the time I straighten it out, it'll break, and I'll need a hook pick. Have to buy some more, I guess. Let's see if that'll do it. Yep, that did it. All right. Now, guaranteed, if I didn't get that out of there, shooting white, a yellow chunk would fly out of there. So we got that. That's good. Okay, well, that last piece, yeah, pipe cleaner would be great if I had one. But my shop split up into two areas. This one and Dayton. I got some stuff in Dayton, some stuff here. When I'm in Dayton, I go, why didn't I bring that with me? And when I'm here, I go, why didn't I bring that with me? But I'll get by. Always do. It's part of being a modeler, figuring it out. Okay. We got her all cleaned up. Back in business. back in business. This little gun is it sprays really nice. It's I don't know. I might try to paint clear with it because it goes on so fine. Except I end up probably getting stripes. But I don't know. We'll give her a whirl, see what happens. I want to get away with the least amount of paint I can get away with. And but if you're going to sand, you're going to have some clear on it. I don't know. I guess the HVLP gun would probably be best. Might as well wipe this one out too. Never been used, but probably has some Chinese scum on it. Cosmoline or whatever. Whatever it is, I don't want it hacking it out while I'm spraying clear, so we'll clean it out. Yeah, it does have Cosmoline on it because it's got oil. Got oil in it. I'm glad I did that. We'd have had fish eyes everywhere. Now I can't get it out. Hopefully I didn't screw it up. Nope, the threads just caught it. A little jet in there. Looks like we had lightning out there just a second ago. So the Harbor Freight gun has oil in it when you get it. So make sure you clean it out. Any questions? Any suggestions? I'm open. All you gotta do is ask. Ask or tell. I think we'll run some thinner through this too. So we don't have any oopsies tomorrow. That putty should be about dry for me to sand on. hoping this is an 8, but I think it's a 1. 0.8 instead of 1.0, 0.08 or whatever. That goes up. I'm missing something here. This gun feels tighter than normal. That's good. Okay, so got that one. Alright, I'm gonna wipe and clean the bench off. Oh wait, let's run a little thinner through this gun. This is my airbrush hose and regulator. More Harbor Freight crapola. Merry Christmas, Montana farmer. Everybody like, subscribe, share, consider becoming a member of the channel. It gives me a little incentive to keep doing this stuff. Okay, let's run a little thinner through this gun and see what it does. Perfect. We're ready to go for tomorrow. We got the white and the clear gun ready to go. Let's see what we have said up here. It says, please get a hold of me sometime regarding paint guns, cleaning and not killing them, and how to buy time if you can't clean immediately. Gotta go, Sparky. Have a safe weekend and Merry Christmas. Thanks, Eddie. I have a DeWalt spray gun with a .05 tip. That'd be a real good one. No, the gun on the table is a Grex, or the yeah, that's a Grex. What I did was, like I said yesterday when I painted that yellow, I just took the yellow, and it was 100% out of the can, and I poured it into the cup. And then I added thinner, and then I shook it. Well, not thinking, I mean, I know better than that. Not thinking that all the thick paint went down to the bottom and clogged the thing up. So then I got the other airbrush and took the paint that I had mixed up here and poured it into the cup and sprayed the thing and let her rip. And I just got disgusted. I just threw it back in the box, figured I'd get it cleaned up today when I got back, and it cleaned up fine. There's nothing on it now. So as far as the Central Pneumatic spray gun, this one looks like it's a good one. One of the guys was saying he has a .05 tip. I think this is it's either a 1.0 or a .08, and I'm hoping that it's a .08, and I really won't know until I start spraying. But the smaller the number, the finer the spray is going to be. And if you're spraying lacquer and you want it to come out, lay down good, you want a super fine mist. That's why I'm considering using the Grex gun. Now this Grex gun's been modified. It has the I bought the extra fan tip and the big needle for it. So that basically this is and plus I bought the big cup. So this is basically a, you know, you have an airbrush, then this, then that. But this is more like that than it is an airbrush because it has a fan to spray it. You can't, with this tip and needle in it, you can't spray a little tiny fine line with it. I guess you could if you took the fan off, held it close and went like that. But there's not a whole lot of control with a trigger like this. An airbrush, you know, that you can push and pull back gives you more control for artwork. This is more for big spraying stuff. But I saw this in a hobby shop in Dayton. When John and I walked in, he said, "Oh, I didn't know anything about it." He said, "Oh yeah, it's supposed to, read the reviews, it's supposed to be great." And I bought it, and it is great. Yeah, it should say, but this Harbor Freight gun is from China. They don't have any markings on it. There's not a mark anywhere on it. Should be right where that little lump is, but it's not there. So, Alexander, Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you have a brilliant day. Greetings from Scotland. Yeah, greetings. I guess Santa's already left there, hasn't he? Still smells like China. Here's what the Grex looks like. Where are we at here? There we are. That's what the Grex looks like when you first get it. I have the big tip on it. But I have all those parts somewhere. I got my shame muzzle. That's nonsense. In 10 minutes, give or take, yeah. How can any thinking person think that if a fart can pass through 2 butt cheeks, a pair of underwear, and a pair of Levi's, and you can still smell it through this, that it would stop a microscopic germ? Let's see, we're going to get this closed, or is it going to be a pain? Okay, that's that. We'll put this away. I'm not going to paint until tomorrow. I'm going to just sand and get things ready tonight. And first thing in the morning, I know you guys won't be watching me on Christmas Day, but I'll go ahead and run the stream. It'll be painting with Sparky instead of Macy's Day Parade. Of course, I don't think you're going to have a Macy's Day. Okay, where are we at now? I need to get rid of this so we don't dump it on the airplane. Okay, let's get this over here. That putty on the bottom should be dry now. Hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, I kind of think out of the box. I put that mask on and take a hit of my smoker and blow it out, and it doesn't even doesn't even phase it. Thing is, don't get around people that are hacking and coughing. Don't touch your face. Hey, thank you, Chris, for the super chats. They're always welcome. They really help. Let's see what we got here. Oh. It helps me stay engaged with doing this. And a little dot there. I don't know what that is. Got to be careful with them little dots. Let me tell you what I did. I got to... Oh, man. That little dot right there, let me tell you a story about... I got a 2004 Saturn Vue. And a Saturn's body is made of plastic. Well, urethane doesn't really stick all that well to plastic. So when they painted it from the factory, they use a adhesion modifier, which is basically MEK. Well, they sprayed the thing with lacquer, or with the urethane. I'm at the car wash and I see a little tiny dot like that on the door, and I go, well, I'll get that off. And I got the pressure washer going, and that little dot on the door turned into a spot about that big around. So you gotta kind of be careful on them little spots. So I just got a spray can and sprayed the black plastic silver, and I have a gallon of paint to paint the thing. I just don't have the ambition to paint it. I wanted to paint the whole car. That's a lot of work. My Saturn Vue has 135,000 miles on it. It runs like it's brand new. I change the oil religiously every 3,000 miles, just like I would a motorcycle. I just did a dump and fill on the transmission. I've changed the plugs. You're not all this, you know, you're not supposed to change oil every 3,000 miles on a car. And they say 5 to 7. You got synthetics, but oil's cheap insurance. And I got new upper control arms, and it's like a new car. I'm just wondering how long I can make it run. I'm the original owner. It's a little 2.2 4-cylinder, so it hasn't been hot rodded. I did almost burn the clutch up though at Brodex. I bought a trailer, and that little 4-cylinder really is not made to pull a trailer. And the circle that has the concrete pad on it there by Brodex, along the tent row, I wanted to back up the hill and have the back of the trailer pointed out that way. Well, I ended up pulling down the hill, going around the tent row and pulling down. But I tried to back up, and man, I just about smoked the clutch. I could smell that puppy getting hot. And I don't want to put a clutch in that thing. That'd be a bitch. You have to take the engine out. And I got 2 factory service manuals for it. They're the size of the LA phone book. They're about that thick each. Yeah. I'm just hoping I can get this to not lift. Because if it lifts again, all this work's for nothing. It's the only spot it did it. Now, that could change this summer. You know, I never could figure out why it did it till I really sat down and thought about it. If you think about why does lacquer lift out of the fillets if you put a lot of paint in it? If you got a fillet like this going around the corner, you spray lacquer in there and you get it wet. Well, the surface tension, it dries on the surface before it does on the underside. So dope is always shrinking. Well, what's going to happen when it shrinks? It's going to lift right out of there and it just pulls out. And that's what happened there. I must have got it too wet. Because the correct way to paint fillets is not paint them. You just let whatever goes in the fillet fall in there. I must have got heavy on the gun. And that's the way it is. Are you guys bored of this airplane yet? You want me to stop working at it on camera? I mean, this is the airplane I'm going to work on until it's finished. And I'll be happy to show you how I achieve a concourse finish. But it is pretty boring. I think I'll leave that alone until tomorrow, until it dries some more. I smell cooking. I think we're about ready for dinner. Boy, that smells great. Haven't had a, like I said, haven't had a home-cooked meal in 2 months. Okay, as long as you guys are getting something out of it. I think this is still green too. It's pretty thick. Now you saw that I dug that blister out of there, and I've made this patch quite a bit bigger. Well, you have to sand all this off, and the only thing that's left is what's in the valley. And by the looks of this, it's going to take 2 passes. I'm going to have to sand this off and then skim it again and then sand it again. And it's on there so thick, I don't really think it's, and when I say thick, I'm only talking 10,000ths. Hey, thanks, RC Fred. Well, you like my stories, huh? I got some stories. ever tell you about a kid named Ken Pasco and the flyaway cougar? We were flying at Willowwood Middle School. And Ken had a cougar. His name was Ken Pasco. And it was it wasn't a concourse winning airplane or anything like that. It was just a kid built airplane. He wanted to see what it would look like if he let it go. Well, he came around and let that puppy go, and it flew off into the sky, and it kept running and running and running, and it kept going around the handle, almost up until out of sight. We kept an eye on it, and it started coming down after it quit. It started coming down, and the lines wrapped around the high tension lines, and it swung around like on the high tension lines, like on a drain, and then wham! The engine hit the curb, and it's the airplane stopped. Well, Ken ran over there and was going to pull that airplane down by the wires, and he reached out and he grabbed them wires and he went, "Ooh, hot!" And just at that time, the lines went pow! And they shorted out or whatever at the wire, and they came falling to the ground. Well, the linemen were down the street, and they come running up. "Are you okay? Are you okay?" "Yeah, we're fine." Ken had good tennis shoes on, so he didn't make good contact or whatever. And the wires were only 15,000, so that high voltage, 20,000 volts or whatever, just kind of the minute they sensed the ground, they went pow, and that's when Ken went "ooh, hot!" and let it go. But he's damn lucky he didn't get electrocuted. We used to fly kites and fly 049 engines, and if you take a 1/4-inch piece of balsa wood, 36 inches long, and you measure out 18 inches, and you put a jumping bean motor mount style on it, and you screw down a Golden B049 and put a 10-6 propeller on an 049 and get it started, and people say I'm lying, but it's true. They go pop, 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 and you turn the needle valve in until it gets going as many RPMs that it can, and you just let it go straight up. It'll whoop, almost out of sight and then come down. We used to fly mechanics rags, and then the kites that I was talking about, we'd get, I don't know, 10 rolls of string, a mile's worth of string, and the kite would disappear off in the horizon over the top of houses, and the line would be sagging way down. Had a lot of fun when we were kids. Now it's all about a computer. Put your face to the computer. Fred, I wish I could get up there. I'm sure that you're a hell of a guy, and I really appreciate the invite. But unfortunately, I'm a long ways from you. Closest I ever been to you is Rumford, Maine. I saw the Northern Lights in Rumford, Maine. Yeah, he's the reason they say don't fly near power lines. That's exactly correct. This green putty's still too green. It's not hard enough to really sand. It's loading up the paper, so that's not a good thing to do. Oh, that's right. I wanted to look at this one. There's one. Other side. Needs a little white paint there. It's a little thin on the paint. It's right there. I don't think I'm going to bother with it. Not until I get some clear on it. I get the clear on it, I'll do something about that. You're absolutely right. Ken is the reason why you don't fly near power line. Oh, that's dirt. That's good. That came off. I don't have to paint that. I still remember all them kids that I used to fly with. Danny Napolitano, Ken Pasco, Rob Gow, Ricky Seacard. I mean, the whole neighborhood was flying. Yeah. I had a couple of Eureles. They were kind of nose heavy, you know. I didn't really care for that. We went to hot rocks. But the damn hot rocks will shock the crap out of you. And I didn't know about tying copper wire around the hot rock. You'd be flying along and zap! But if you tie copper wire around it, it'll ground you. I didn't know that, so. And I hadn't learned at that time how to make my own handles yet, so. I can't remember what the name of this airplane was. This is back before I understood aerodynamics and CG and all these things. I made this airplane. Man, it was beautiful. At least I thought so. It was not like what I build now, but it was beautiful to me as a 15-year-old kid. And it probably weighed 65 ounces with a McCoy 35 on it. And I took off, and I got it in the air. It was like a carrier airplane. It was just so tail heavy. And finally I got her going pretty good, so I get the tail up, and then it started porpoising. Up and down, up and down. Man, that whole flight was jaw-strapping. That ended up being a wall banger. Because I didn't know, I didn't know how to fix it. Just forget it. Build another one. Lighter. We had trophy trainers and magicians, and it's another one. I was building one. What the hell's the name of that thing? Another good profile. I have one. Oh, it's right here. I'm at home. I forgot. I have this started. I have it started, but haven't finished it. I got the ribs cut. It's an airplane ready to go, really. Let's see here. I got the elevators and I got everything. What the hell did they call this thing? God, my mind is just shot. Anyway, I got the whole airplane, the whole kit cut. And I was building this to bring back childhood memories. Because believe it or not, this airplane, this design flew pretty good when I was a kid. What the hell do they call this? I wish I wouldn't have used this piece of wood. This thing is light. This is going to be a nice airplane for somebody someday. Ever get around to finishing it. This is an Excalibur. That's what that is. A Dick Mathis Excalibur. I got all the good stuff here. This is a lightning bolt 40. Of course, I have a McGass 40 in Dayton. Anybody know what that is? A McGass 40 is a George Aldrich McCoy 40 with a ring in it. No, it's not a Tudor. It's a Dick Mathis Excalibur. That was a design from the 50s that I flew as a kid. And so I was going to build one. I built some trophy trainers, and I decided I'd build one of them. It flies good if you keep it light. I got some 5-minute epoxy up there, I see. 15 too. Man, we're in tall cotton. And some superfill. I should have looked on the shelf. Well, been so long since I've been here, I don't know where nothing's at. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. I'll run it for another 6 minutes. Ever flown any plane with old Cox engines? When I was a kid, I had little jumping beans. I had little Satans, combat kittens. I had some of them log airplanes, but they didn't fly very good. What else did I have? I had a bunch of 049s as a kid. But anybody that knows anything about airplanes, them little airplanes are harder to fly than these big ones. A lot harder. So after moving to my first big airplane was a Voodoo, but my second big airplane was a Thunderbird. And then I progressed from there. Oh, yeah. Well, my first plastic model was a Wenmac T6 trainer. That's what got me started. But I thought you were talking about, did I ever build any other airplanes? Well, yeah, I built the Jumping Bean and Combat Kittens and Combat Cats and all that stuff. Yeah, the plastic models didn't fly that good because the wing wasn't very efficient. Now, believe it or not, I have seen the Cox Hyper Viper fly a pattern or something thereabouts. But it has a foam wing and it's symmetrical airfoil. The Stuka, the Pitts Special, they had that Pitts Racer and PT-19. The wing is only half a wing. It has no lift and it doesn't have any wing area. So they don't fly worth a darn. And those Dacron lines are so draggy, I don't know how anybody could fly the thing. Yeah, all us guys, you know, we all started out on that old stuff. I didn't, believe it or not, I've never owned a Fox 35. I've never flown an ignition engine model. You know, there's some things I still haven't done. Everybody liked them Fox 35s. I didn't care for them. And as I was saying, you know, I got a shelf full of McCoys there. Had I known as a kid about fuel and castor oil and, you know, oil for the things, they might have lasted longer than 25 or 30 flights, because we ran mist through them, Cox fuel, you know, RC fuel, no oil. You know, it just didn't know any different. So they didn't last long. But they were only $5.95, so who cares? Get a new one. I'd have to paint one house number and get a motor. And them guys that were mowing lawns for $1 a lawn, man, they breaking their back, and I'd paint house paint numbers on the curb for $5. I was tall cotton. Only took 2 seconds and didn't have to work very hard at it. Box of stencils, 2 cans of spray paint, some tape. Let's see here. I can't read that. We put TD piston and cylinders on our Black Widows and they flew fast. Yeah. They are screamers for sure. Yeah, those old airplanes, they didn't fly very good. So we just didn't mess with them. And I've told the story about my Uncle Jerry jumping Interstate 10 with his panhead, or maybe it was a panhead, and then working. He's the guy who got me started in airplanes, really, and then and motorcycle. But I'm out of motorcycles now because while Wendy went into him later on in his life, it's a bad mistake, because it's Russian roulette. There's 2 kind of riders, ones who have crashed and ones who are going to crash. And the pavement is unforgiving. I have some big time scars on me from hitting the ground. And rolling the dice, I just couldn't see doing it anymore. I love riding. Don't get me wrong, I love riding. But the odds are against you, because nobody sees you. They'd be looking right at you. I didn't see them. My 700-pound dresser, if it hit a car doing 40 miles an hour, yeah, it'd screw me up, but it'd tear the car in half. Well, guys, I will be back tomorrow, Christmas Day, and I'll be painting on this, maybe. And I wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and I thank you very much for the support. And the Super Chats, all are very appreciative. And we'll try to do some more stuff this year. And yes, I'll try to get some shirts out for 21. We need some 21 t-shirts. But I don't, like I say, I don't think I'm going to make them where they say 21 on them, because then they're only good for 1 year. All right, guys. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.